When I first got my job out of college, I think like a lot of people, I thought, I got the degree, so I'm set, right? I'll be able to make plenty of money. And it's just not true.
Gloria Steinem once said, "We will never solve the feminization of power until we solve the masculinity of wealth." Barbara Provost and Maggie Nielsen are the team at Purse Strings that will help you navigate the ins and outs of financial independence so that you can be financially fearless. This is Women in Money, the shit we don't talk about.
Annie, welcome to Women in Money, the shit we don't talk about. We are so excited to have you on today. Could you introduce yourself to the listeners for those who haven't met you before?
Yes. So I'm Annie Cole. I am a money coach and also the founder of Money Essentials for Women. So it's a one-stop shop where women can come and get financial support. We cover really everything you can think of, from budgeting to tax advice to general financial planning. But we also help women where money kind of meets the intersection of life. So business, career, everything else that comes to money. So yeah, I love the topic of your podcast because I think money is hard to talk about. And, I'm hoping to hopefully make it easier for women to talk about money in the world.
Okay, so Annie, you've had quite a journey. Your first job as a social worker, earning what, 26K, to now planning for retirement at 45 with multiple streams of income. Can you walk us through the pivotal moments in your career that you led to this remarkable transition?
Yeah, there have been quite a few pivotal moments, but I
Yeah.
can talk about, yeah, some of the big ones. So when I first got my job out of college, I think like a lot of people, I thought, I got the degree, so I'm set, right? I'll be able to make plenty of money. And it's just not true. There's so much that I learned about. There are certain jobs that you can only make so much money. It's very hard to grow up in the career ladder. So I think that was a pivotal moment because I realized if I wanted to make enough money, I needed to change my career path. So I actually made a complete 180. I took a temporary break from social work, went into the higher education space, went back to school, got my master's, got my doctorate degrees, and slowly climbed the ladder and learned a ton about what it means to just advocate for yourself and advocate for your worth. So that was a big part of the journey. And then I would say closer to now, one of the things that's changed my life is learning how to invest. And so I think making that mindset change and just learning what it means to go from, hey, I work to make money and my hours make me money, versus I'm investing my money and now my money is making me money, to the point that I can eventually stop working. That was a huge pivotal moment for me.
Well, it's such a mind shift, right? I mean, we grew up thinking you trade hours for money. Like, how much do you make an hour?
Yeah.
That's how much that hour is worth. And really, social work, God bless you. Everybody in social work, it's so needed, but they just don't pay you enough, right? So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we know that either you need a side hustle or you need to do what you did, which is get more education, different skill sets, and change your job then.
Yeah, like
Go
what
ahead.
did you get your new degrees in, or what was kind of that next step from moving on to doing social work to kind of being that advocate?
I loved I always identified as a helper, got my degree in psychology, my bachelor's degree, and thought I want to help people. And I think it was social work was too much personal emotional toll. I was definitely taking it home with me. So I thought, how can I transition into this peer support in a little bit lighter environment? So I got a job working in a student center at a college. And so I helped first year students, first generation students, and then got my master's degree in higher education and my doctorate in education. So I really wanted to focus on that helping, but in the more advising, educational, how to get the degrees, how to further your career path role. And that was a ton of fun. And then along the way, also really focused on data and research and how we can use data to really help people out. So, for example, when a student comes in, there's a lot of things we can look at to say, okay, these are the areas where you're going to flourish, and these are the areas where you might struggle. So we can preemptively give you the supports and resources to help you out even more. So it was a ton of fun to be able to be doing that work and then also getting the degrees at the same time.
Yeah, it's fun to see the aspects that we like and how we can take that into different jobs and different careers. Because when we come out of high school and then college, it's very like you're a firefighter, you're a doctor, you own a
Yeah.
business. Like they're very straightforward, these buckets. But then you're like, I see how I can later apply these different things that I like into a different position that can make me a livable wage, right?
Yeah.
And it's just fun to see how those characteristics kind of carry over.
Yeah.
And so I know you have some 5 kind of keys to building wealth that you talk about. So I'd love to kind of run through those and share how listeners can start using them in their everyday life.
Yeah. So I think the 5-step wealth framework that I use, I talk about it in my book, and I also use it when I'm coaching clients. I really stumbled upon it in my own experience because I feel like the general advice is 2-prong. It's have a budget and have a job. And those are the 2 things we focus on. And mostly it's just have a job. If you don't have a budget, but at least you have something in your bank account, it's fine. And those are actually further down the framework for me. So what I ended up learning is that money, there were times when I was making a lot of money and I was happy, and times when I wasn't happy. So step number 1 is actually having a vision for your life. Because if you don't know where you're going, it's going to be hard for the money to make you happy. You could be making more than enough and spending it on crap that has no value to you. You could be working hard and burnt out and making good money, but you're exhausted. So once you have your really clear financial vision of what you want money to do for you, what do you want to spend your days doing, what do you want your life to look like, that's what we want to be grounded in. And that actually lays the framework for 2, 3, 4, and 5. So then step number 2 is having a budget, crunching the numbers, knowing what you need to turn your vision into an actual number set. Number 3 is then creating the income to live the life you want based on the vision and the numbers you've crunched. Number 4 is going beyond just income to actually invest and build wealth and learn how to compound your money and make it work for you. And number 5 is sustainability. So that's creating habits and lifestyle that keep your life going and keep you in check. So again, I think it's so different than go out and get a job without a vision and then flipping it on its head and saying, what do you want your whole life to look like, not just your career?
Yeah, we don't take enough time sometimes to step back and really feel, what do we want to do? What do we want it to look like? And how can a job help me get there? It's always been have the 9 to 5 and just do the grind, and maybe one day you'll retire.
Yeah.
So it is really flipping it on its head, changing that dynamic and putting your goals first and then what money needs to support you there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really empowering and hopefully just a different way of looking at life for folks and making it so we're not so career centric. I mean, I love work. I think making money and creating an income stream is really important, but it's almost too much of a focus. We need to remember we still have family members and hobbies and lifestyles, and we want to make the most of that.
Did I read where you were looking for a job and you put in the amount of money you wanted to earn, and then you just upped it 20,000?
Yeah, I post about this story every now and then because, again, my background's in psychology and mindset is, I just know how important it is. So I was being paid $30,000. This was when I was working at the college. And I thought, okay, I'll set the bar to 40,000. That seems reasonable, right? And then I thought, well, why? I just got my doctorate. Why can't I ask for a little more than the normal amount? And I didn't even know what normal was, but I thought, well, let's try 60. So I put the bar, I set the filter on Indeed to 60, started applying and got a $60,000 job. And it really shook my mindset to the core to believe, okay, I can quantum leap in salary. It doesn't have to be a straight line. It can be major shifts. And I think not enough women know what your future self is capable of. Is it doesn't have to be linear. It could be something massively different than what you're doing now. And so that was just a real life experience of that and how it just started with mindset and it ultimately resulted in a salary change.
Yeah. Why didn't you put 100?
My brain could not have even comprehended that at the time. I would have thought, I'm not worthy of that. That's not possible. Nowadays I would, but yeah, back then that probably would have been too beyond my thought processes.
Yeah. It's interesting. We both have the same doctorate in EDD, which most people don't even know what that is, but
I know.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for someone starting out with smaller amounts to invest, what would you recommend be the first steps to start investing, to diversify your portfolio for women who are like, maybe it's time for me to start taking this on?
Yeah, I think I would go back to the 5-step framework first, because I think one thing that happens a lot with our finances, we can Google our way to almost anything we want to know, right? There's just an overload of information. We all know we should be investing, saving, budgeting, and yet so many of us don't do it. So I think the first thing we have to do is have a clear vision. And if you know why you want to invest, you know what investing will do for you, it'll create this intrinsic motivation and this vision that will get you excited to keep going. So for example, one way you could practically do that is pull up an investment calculator online. There's a ton of free ones. If you just Google free investment calculator, see what would happen if you put $10 in a month and got a 10% annual return. And just look at what would happen in the next 10, 20, 30 years. That will get you excited. And then if you think, okay, well, I could do that, but I could probably do 25, or I might be able to do 30. What would that look like? The more you start playing around with it and see the vision of what it will do for your life, that would be step one. And then step two, I would say work with a professional if you need to make sure you have all the technical information right, but set up an account. So you can set up either a retirement account or a regular investment account. And hot tip for people who don't know, you do not have to have a job to get a retirement account. There are retirement accounts for people who are self-employed or not employed. So don't let that hold you back. And then once you have your account set up, you can make your first investment, and you can truly just transfer cash from your checking account into your investment account, and you can invest it and start the process. So those would be the three things I would suggest to start with.
The things I want to highlight there is like how you started with low numbers. You didn't start with $100 or $300. You started 10, maybe 25, and then 30. And like, is that going to be enough forever? Probably not. But is it getting started, opening an account, getting in the habit, putting that one step in front of another, just getting used to the thing? Yes,
Yeah.
100%. And so it's really, I think we could all find $10. It doesn't have to be even 100. And sometimes it's like, well, I don't know about 100. 10's fine. Just get started.
Yeah.
But then also we all have access to this. I know so many stay-at-home moms don't think that they have access to those retirement accounts, or entrepreneurs, or it just gets put on the back burner, which I understand as well, since no one else is automating it for you. But that there is that opportunity for everyone. And so even us as entrepreneurs or stay-at-home moms, putting in $10, I mean, those are huge steps to take.
They really are. And another thing that I suggest people do, it might seem silly because it's so small, but what I did when I first started investing, I didn't know what I was doing, and I knew I wanted to get started, and I wanted it to be a risk-free experience. So I literally opened up a regular investment account and I put a single dollar in it. And for about 1 month, I just opened the account every day and I watched what happened to the dollar, because I wanted to understand what it would feel like to watch my money go up and down and understand how the stock market works. Because I just didn't have a grasp on that, or know how it would impact me to watch my dollar go up and down in value. So even doing that is going to give you so much education, because it's your dollar. You'll watch it go up and down in value. You'll see how you emotionally react to it. You'll start asking questions like, why did it go up today? What was I invested in? Why did the market change? So it's just a super easy way, and it's a dollar. So
yeah,
it's not huge risk.
Examples where they're like, if you want to start going to the gym, just sit up and put on your gym shoes. Just walk into the gym. You don't have to do anything there. Just walk into it. It's just getting used to those little things and how you're feeling, and getting in the habit, and having the app, and just doing the actions. And then kind of that money will come with it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like strengthening that money muscle almost. We don't start out running. We start out with just crawling and then baby steps. But it's just getting started. And we know the number one regret of women is that they either haven't gotten started or they started too late. And we know the cost of waiting is so impactful. We did a piece where we did put $100 in either a high yield savings account or the market. And what you just look at, if you did that every month for 30 years, it gives you so much money that you probably don't even think about. And so there's a trade-off. Like, do I want to buy myself another fancy purse, or do I want to put this in the market and see it grow and compound and be there when I'm older? And I think, gosh, I've invested in my 30s, and now that I'm in my 60s, I have all this investment money that's grown because I made these decisions early on.
Yeah. Yep. It's so important. And one thing that's actually helped me a lot in that area because I started investing small amounts and I used to spend a lot more on random things. I would go shopping a lot for clothes and for makeup and all the things. The more I started getting excited about what investing could do for me, the more I found myself putting that extra money in there. So again, I think it comes back to having a vision, because the vision is what's going to keep you going when you want to spend the money on something else. But the other thing that I've really embraced is living a more minimalist lifestyle. So these days, I think my budget on an average year is only about $40,000. I live very minimally, don't spend money on a lot of things. And I've done a lot of internal work and journaling and reflection on what are the things that are most valuable to me. And it really is having dinner with friends, being able to sleep in, going on a walk with the dog. So the more you can think about what brings you value in your life, the things that are free or low cost, and fill your life with those things, you might find that you naturally stop spending on other things and you have that money opened up for something else.
Yeah, those are great examples. And I was going to ask you, what's important to you? What are you spending on? But I love that of just kind of being outdoors, dinner with friends, that eating out and that community is kind of important, which is great to understand. And it's not just cut restaurants from the budget, but it's like, no, that's important to me. We're going to go out to eat. That's my community time, my friend time, building those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think books are a huge one. Like if I'm going to spend extra money, I'm going to buy 5 new books and
okay,
have piles of books on my desk. I think the other thing that it's allowed me to do, and I think a lot of people don't think about this, is you don't necessarily have to work full time if you're cutting your living expenses. So for right now, I'm running Money Essentials for Women. I'm also doing some contract work, and I have less time I actually have to spend working because I'm not spending as much. And then I'm putting a little bit less into my investments these days. So your financial journey and your current journey doesn't have to keep going like this. It could go like this. It could have times where you are going big and climbing the ladder, moments when you're taking a micro retirement, moments when you are living on less or having kids and taking time off. It just, I don't know, there's so much pressure that it has to happen in a certain way, and it just doesn't have to be that way.
I think that's a great point. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think there's sometimes we got to take those breaks while we still are healthy and young and can enjoy them, not just waiting until like we're old and our knees don't feel good and we actually can't do that walk or do that adventure. But it sounds like you kind of have some different income streams. I mean, I know you're an entrepreneur, so you don't just have like a 9 to 5, but you have these different income streams. How can other people who do have these 9 to 5 jobs start those or even have the confidence to start building that?
I think that's such a good question. I remember when I was working probably 5, 6 years ago, I saw an old coworker that started her own coaching business, and I saw her post about it on LinkedIn, and I thought I could never do that. That's just not me. So I think it's definitely a mindset shift. So giving yourself permission to test it out, and also giving yourself permission to fail. I think a ton of people are afraid that I'm going to try this, I won't get any clients, I won't make any money, and I will fail. I mean, success looks different to everyone. I would say test it out. There's also, it would be really valuable to test out different types of things that you might be interested in. So for example, maybe you are really good at your job and you work at a business and your expertise is marketing. So maybe you want to start consulting on the side. You could, number one, connect with people in your network, just send a message on LinkedIn to other individuals and say, do you know someone who's looking for specific help with website design, with social media, with something very niche within marketing, since that's your area of expertise? You could also go on a platform like Fiverr or Upwork, create a profile that describes your expertise, and then try to connect with people there. If you want to go full-fledged into launching a business, you can create more of a social media account dedicated to your business, a website or some sort of landing page, and start directing traffic to your page. So you can do it in a very light touch way while keeping your job, or in a more heavy, I want to launch this business kind of way. And then you can keep dipping your toe in until you start making enough money, and you can decide, I want to make this to be part-time on top of my full-time work, or you can eventually transition out of full-time work. So it doesn't have to be black and white. It really can be like this gray, testing the waters.
There's so many opportunities these days online, right? When I was young and I was going through school, working during the day, my side gig was waitressing at night, right? And it doesn't have to be the standard part-time job that you're doing at night that many of us fell back on. You can create your own work, right? With Upwork, Fiverr, just on the internet, you can create what you are really good at and offer a consulting on that. Or some people just love to make jewelry or whatever it might be, maybe even Etsy shop. There's so many different opportunities for people to leverage their skills and expertise in ways that bring them joy as well, and not just kind of, I have to make more money, so now I have to wait tables or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can turn your craft. So I wrote a book and published a book last year. You can self-publish on Amazon, which is what I did, and get your thoughts out into the world and educate other people. You can sell jewelry. You can sell a ton of different online templates. So whether you're good at newsletters or, again, graphic design, budgeting templates, you can sell those kind of things on Etsy or on your own website. There's just so much you could do with your hobbies to turn them into something that is making money on the side. And one other thing that I love and is very low hanging fruit for folks that want to test out a side hustle, do online research. So there are definitely lots of places where you can take surveys and they're going to pay you $1 to take a survey. Don't do that. It's not worth your time. Your time is precious. But there are legitimate places that will actually pay you $50 an hour, $150 an hour to participate in surveys, focus groups, and interviews. My favorite place is respondent.io. And there's another one, I think it's called userinterviews.com or .org. Check those out. They have very legitimate research studies by big name companies, and they're looking for participants all the time. And it's a ton of fun. You just get paid to share your feedback.
I did that one time. I've done that a couple times, but I get the surveys and I fill them out quickly. And one was like just going to the sporting goods store and meeting them there and just telling them like how you're shopping through the store, what you're looking for, like why would you buy this? Why wouldn't you buy this? What do you think of this brand section? I was like, you want my opinion? I'm happy to share. Just
Isn't
talk
that
for
cool?
an hour and tell you what I think. I was like, sign me up for $150. I was like, this is not bad at all. Like, and it was just kind of fun, interesting to see as someone who does a lot of our own marketing, to see what other people are looking at and how they go about it. And just as a business owner, I always like to see what other people are doing and how they're doing it and stuff. So they can be a lot of fun. And I mean, you don't get picked for all of them. There can be specific, but the surveys usually take 2 minutes to figure out if you're in or not. So it's a lot of fun. I do recommend that as well. I'll have to check out those websites though, because I don't think I know those.
Yeah, they're a ton of fun. I did one and it was feedback on tanning lotions. And it was like, yeah, what do you like? What do you think about this label? What do you think about this color? And it's actually really fun.
Yeah, I have a good time
That's
with
awesome.
it. So
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun to make some easy money. So good tip there, ladies, if you're listening. But you've managed to invest and acquire a substantial retirement investment. And is that because you're looking to retire early than the typical 65, 67? What's your plan for your future there?
I think when I first started, the goal was I just want to be able to stop working and I want to have freedom of choice. And I think at this point, when I first started investing really heavily, I was working full time, experiencing some burnout, was feeling like I don't want to do this forever. What I'm doing now, running my own business and being able to work on my own schedule and do something that really lights me up, I could see doing that for a very long time. So I think my needs have changed, my wants have changed, but I ultimately see investing as the best way to, number one, create wealth almost out of thin air. If you think about it, you're putting your money to work for you to make you more money. And it just gives me unlimited choices. So if I did want to retire in my 40s, I could do that. If I don't have kids, so if I want to have kids and be a stay-at-home mom, I could do that. If I want to keep working and have even more in retirement, I could do that. So for me, it's the freedom. It's the freedom that it gives. So I anticipate I'll probably keep working a lot longer, but I love knowing that I have the ability to do a bunch of different things.
And for those listening, how do you kind of find that number that would be like, I have this amount, so I have enough to retire at the age of 40 or 45? How do you kind of find what that would look like or predict what things are going to cost when I'm 80 if prices are already rising?
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. There's lots of ways to do it. So I have my own budgeting template that I've been using for years, and there's a couple things that I'm calculating in there. So number one, if you want to know how much you need to retire, I highly suggest, again, Googling free retirement calculator. and you can find out exactly what you would need. So you're going to need to know, number one, how much your annual expenses are. So you'll want to create a budget and know how much it costs for you to live each year. And then every year in the future from now, we can expect that things will get about 3% more expensive. So you would want to calculate, and there are online calculators that will do this for you. Like 20 years from now, things will be this much more expensive. Therefore, your $60,000 that you need to live on a year is now more like $110,000 a year. So you'll find out what those needs are. And then there are a couple different ways you can find the retirement number. So the 4% rule is a really simple one. That's the amount that you can pull from your investment account and live off of it forever and not run out of value. So let's say you had $1 million. Your 4% rule is saying that you could pull 4% of your $1 million to live on every year and never run out. So that would be, I think, $40,000. That means you could pull $40,000 and live on it every year, and it will adjust for inflation and growth in the market. So those are just a few of the different numbers. But again, there are online calculators that will calculate the exact numbers for you. But definitely don't forget to account for inflation and things getting more expensive every year, because what you need to live now is not going to be what you need to live 20 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I think about our grandparents, and they were $60,000 was a ton of money to them, and now it's not taking you as far.
Yes, exactly.
So it does make a huge difference. And so it is kind of looking about what's your lifestyle? What do I want today? If I'm earning $100,000 today and just kind of want to keep this lifestyle, that's what that money would be. But if I want to do more, travel more, live a more expensive lifestyle, that number will raise, and you have to plan accordingly.
Yep. And one thing you can do too, I've done this and it's really helpful. You can have your budget of how you live now, but create a retirement budget. Because for some folks, they do want to travel a lot more. They want to buy their dream home. That might be a more expensive lifestyle in retirement. But a lot of people find it's the complete opposite, because you maybe have kids now. You also give maybe 15% of your income to your retirement account every month. That's all going to go away when you are retired, or maybe you no longer have a mortgage because you've paid off your home payment or you've paid off your cars. So your retirement budget could be completely different, and playing around with those numbers can be really helpful.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But let's talk about the focus on retirement and women, because as we know, women typically live longer. And I always say, as women age, they'll typically age alone, and they'll be in charge of their oversight, their health care, their welfare. So, what is your advice for women starting out now and thinking about the impacts of women long term in their money?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'm a huge advocate for is that women just understand what's going on with finances. And at the very basic level, if you're in a partnership, regardless if you're a man or a woman, know what's going on in your household and in your partnership and in your finances. I know a lot of times one partner will lead the finances and the other will kind of just trust that person, but you never know what will happen, or if someone will die early, or if someone will get sick. And in general, it's just good to know what's going on. So know what income is coming in, just generally what the number is, how those income streams are coming in, know about your taxes, what are you owing every year, and then know about your budget, what your general expenses are every year. Those three things are really easy, basic things that you can start to learn more about. And then the more you can get involved, if you have an investment account, meet with an advisor and say, tell me more about this. Like, what am I I'm seeing this list of things I'm invested in, and it says target date fund. What is a target date fund? What does that even mean? How do I know how much I will make each year? Will this go down? Will this go up? Ask questions. Don't feel stupid. Please just ask lots of questions. And I think you'll start to feel really empowered and educated to know how to navigate all of these things. And then as you get older, you can ask specific people what different things should be costing. So I know, for example, my dad just retired. He's looking at what are my medical costs going to be over the next 2 years. And they're going to be very different than what they have been while he's working and having his insurance covered. So when you go through different phases of life, talk to the people that can get you the answers you need and just keep asking questions.
Yeah, because that will
All about the
change.
questions.
I mean, and everything ebbs and flows so often, because if you're retired at 60, well, you still need to pay for your medical benefits, but at 65 or whatever, when you can get Medicare, that expense changes. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and when you talk about your own living expenses, some people buy up, which I would never do because house is not important to me. And some people buy down because they think I don't need this big house anymore. My children are on their own. I'd rather use those funds to travel and go see them. So
Yep.
it is about being very financially conscious about your own value system, what it is you want. And I really think not even living below your means, but living within your means is so important because there's just been this compulsion to purchase so much. And I think it might be taking a turn, but we really need to say, is this a value of mine to buy this additional whatever it is versus investing it in my financial future? Because I know I want to go on a cruise next year, or I want to go live in Hawaii for a month in 3 years, or I want to retire early. What are your
Yeah.
values? Yeah.
I love that. I think it's so important. And if you don't know, if it's been a long time that you've been spending and you don't even know how to connect your finances with your values, test it out. Next time you buy something, that next week, think about how it made you feel. Did it feel like, let's say you went to the grocery store and you bought everything you wanted. You didn't have a plan. You overspent. How did that make you feel? And why did it make you feel that way? Is it because of the dollar amount? Is it because you normally like to be planned and you weren't that day? Is it because of the items you bought and ultimately you're worried about your health and you didn't buy things in line with your health? So exploring internally those connections and those emotions you have when you buy something can be really telling and can help open your eyes to what your values are.
I end up overbuying and then wasting it. And then I get mad about
Yeah.
it. Oh, because I was like, I wasted it. I wasted the money. I wasted the food. I didn't eat it. What the heck?
Yeah. I have that happen very often. And I have definitely found that's when I'm like, okay, I'd rather buy less and go to the store a few more times
Yep.
if I need to versus what I used to do, which is definitely just overbuying and having to throw stuff away.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
This has been so much great information and so many actionable insights, and really showing how working now can really project well into the future, especially if you're investing. But there is a question we like to ask everybody while on the show, and that is, what is your definition of financial freedom, Annie?
I think it comes back to choice. For me, it's all about, do I actually have the ability to make the choices I want? And there are a lot of choices we can make without money. But at the end of the day, money is really how we take care of ourselves in this world and pay for the things that we need, necessities and beyond. So money gives us choice to be able to do what we want. And I think that's truly what financial freedom is. And I like that more than a number or early retirement or something else, because not everyone wants to retire early. Not everyone wants to have $1 million. That might not be freedom. Freedom might be very minimal for someone else, but it's whatever level gives you choice in your life.
Yep. That's a perfect answer. It's about choices. And to add to that, we say we don't want people to be stuck, right? We don't want women to be stuck in a marriage or stuck in an apartment that they don't like or stuck in a job they can't stand, because that just weighs on you physically, mentally, everything else. So having some money of your own so that you can, someone call it FU money, just move on, get up and get out, and really taking an investment in yourself and in your financial future. So perfect. Thank you, Annie, so much for coming on our show today. We appreciate your time and sharing all of your wisdom. We know that, what is the name of your book that you have? Money Essentials for Women?
So my company is Money Essentials for Women. If anyone wants to learn more, it's money-essentials.com.
Okay.
Tons of amazing resources there. And I have a directory of all of our coaches there. So our financial, career, and business coaches. And then my book is 101 Ways to Build Wealth. And actually, we're giving away free copies, digital copies of the book all year long. So if anyone wants a copy, I can share the link. Please share it with your friends. Our goal is really to get as much education. My background's education. So just educating people about finances and how to build wealth, especially for women.
We'll have all of that in the show notes so everyone could click out and grab the book, get reading, check out your resources, as I know you have so much to offer. So I want to make sure that gets into the hands of our community as well. So thank you again, Annie, for coming on today, and we'll talk to everyone again soon. You've been listening to Women in Money, the shit we don't talk about. Now it's time to take what you've learned and make bold moves towards financial independence. Stay in the know by joining our newsletter for exclusive tools, resources, and updates that keep you financially fearless. Head to pursestrings.co and sign up today. Need a financial professional who gets it? Turn to Purse Strings' curated directory, your go-to resource for financial experts who know how to put you first. Love this episode? Leave us a review and help us empower even more women to own their financial power. Until next time, be financially fearless.